Dear students, hope you all are well. In your previous class, I talked about lesson 1 of unit 2 from your textbook. You have already known that unit 2 of your textbook deals with some of the greatest scientific achievements. Today, I shall discuss lesson 2 from this unit. It's about science and technology against an age-old disease. The title of the lesson is Science and Technology Against an Age-Old Disease. So, let's start our today's class. Okay, dear students, today we shall learn about IDRI, an acronym for Infectious Disease Research Institute. It's a non-profit organization based in USA. It develops new and advanced products for the diagnosis, prevention, and treatment of neglected diseases related to poverty. Okay, let's have a glance at the name of the contents of our today's lesson. The contents are a text about leprosy by Steve Reed, vocabulary, parts of speech change, question and answer, voice change, and joining sentences. Before starting our today's lesson, let's consider the two questions. The first question is, what infectious diseases have been recorded in your country? And the second one is, how do advancements in medical science and technology help fight fatal diseases? Dear students, now let's look at this picture. What can you see? I think you understand that it shows a vaccine of COVID-19. Dear students, now we will read a text not dealing with COVID-19 but with the disease leprosy, a skin disease. Here I'd like to inform you that the organization IDRI is also doing research for a successful vaccine of recent COVID-19. Now look at another two pictures. Look at the faces of the two children. You see some bacterial infections in their skins. These are leprosy. Now I shall discuss a text written by Steve Reed, the founder, president, and chief scientific officer of Infectious Disease Research Institute IDRI, based in Seattle, USA. Let's go to the text. When I started working on the research and science of leprosy more than a decade ago, people thought this chronic infectious disease could eliminate itself and burn out over time. Here, chronic means lasting for a long time, and eliminate means completely remove. So, when the researcher Steve Reed started working on leprosy more than 10 years from now, people used to think that leprosy would automatically remove from the world. We did not have time for that. Why? Nearly 250,000 new cases of leprosy are diagnosed every year, and many more go undetected. Approximately 10% of new cases occur in children. You understand, a huge number of people are diagnosed every year. Many people remain undetected, and nearly 10% of new cases occur in children. Even though it's associated with biblical times, leprosy remains a problem in the modern era and was reported in 130 countries during the past year. It's most prevalent in a number of countries throughout Africa, Asia, and South America. Although leprosy is thought to be a disease of ancient times, it is still a problem in many countries in Africa, Asia, and South America. And symptoms include progressive and permanent damage to the skin, nerves, limbs, and eyes that can take several years to appear. making the disease hard to diagnose at an early stage. Here, symptom means a situation or problem that seems to represent a more serious and general problem. So it is very difficult to identify the disease at an early stage because the signs or symptoms of the disease can take much time to appear. Although this disease can cause permanent damage to the skin, nerves, limbs, and eyes. Even worse, leprosy comes with a stigma. Unlike the most other diseases, leprosy results in isolation, as people with leprosy are often shunned. Stigma is a mark of disgrace associated with a particular circumstance, quality, or person. And shun means to avoid something. So leprosy is thought to be a mark of disgrace or shame. So people diagnosed with leprosy remain isolated or separated from others. The good news, however, is that we know we now have the key scientific solutions and momentum as well as key collaborations to eliminate leprosy. I couldn't have said these 10 years ago. Here momentum is the force or speed of something in motion. So the positive news is that at present we have the main scientific solutions and the necessity or urge for cooperation to end leprosy. The condition could not be noticed 10 years from now. At IDRI, we are also attacking leprosy in two different ways. In this sentence, attack means to tackle or cope with or to control the spread of the disease. The researcher is saying that they are trying to control the spread of leprosy in two different methods. First, by developing a fast, easy to use test that provides an early diagnosis of infection before clinical symptoms such as nerve damage begin to appear. The first method that they are trying to introduce a new method of diagnosis at an early stage of the disease before the beginning of any symptoms. This approach is far superior to the traditional method of diagnosis, which has generally involved clinical or microscopic assessment. This method of diagnosis is different and better than the traditional method, as traditionally the disease is diagnosed with a clinical test. But here, no clinical tests is required. IDRI is also developing a companion test so we can identify which people will likely progress to disease and to determine the appropriate course of treatment. Additionally, the organization is also developing a test that can identify which people have the possibility to be infected with the disease so that they can get proper treatment. And second, by developing a vaccine that can be used therapeutically in conjunction with antibiotics to shorten therapy. The second method that they are trying to introduce is a vaccine which can be applied or used along with antibiotics so that the current therapy can be shortened. IDRI's diagnostic tools would be used to identify infected individuals, and IDRI's vaccine would then be used on a targeted basis for treatment of the patient as well as to immunize family members and close contacts. The researchers wanted to diagnose the disease by their invented tools, and their vaccine would be applied to the targeted patients. The vaccine was also targeted to be used to prevent the spread of disease from the patient to their family members and also close contacts. This treatment and prevention strategy has significantly bolstered by support from some pharmaceutical giants that donate the currently used antibiotics. The prevention and treatment tools have greatly been supported by some large pharmaceutical companies that donate the antibiotics used to produce vaccines. The most exciting part of this breakthrough is the fact that we are now right on the course of human clinical trials after a decade of leprosy vaccine development. The Food and Drug Administration will initially oversee the multi-stage trial in USA before they move on to the Philippines, India and Brazil. So after developing the vaccine, they are in the stage of experimentally applying them to human beings. The Food and Drug Administration of USA will experiment them before they are carried to the Philippines, India and Brazil. Global technology has been an integral part of our quest to eliminate leprosy. Integral means necessary and important, and quest means to search. So, in their research to eliminate leprosy, global technology played an important role. The rapid diagnostic test for leprosy infection, for example, was developed in conjunction with Brazilian company. This company combined IDRI's leprosy diagnostic antigens with a smartphone-based platform that standardizes the ability to accurately interpret results and get a quantitative value. A Brazilian company helped them to develop a rapid diagnostic test for leprosy infection. The results they used with a smartphone. The test requires just a single drop of blood mixed with a developing reagent. Just a single drop of blood of the patient is mixed with their reagent to identify leprosy. The appearance of the two lines indicates that the person is positive for leprosy. If the two lines appear in the test kit, it indicates the person is infected with leprosy or the person is leprosy positive. From there, the information from the phone is pushed to the person's medical records. Then the information goes to the medical records of the patient from his or her phone. People around the world now believe we will soon have the tools to finally eliminate leprosy. We believe that very soon we will get the necessary tools to put an end to leprosy. The next step is making this disease disappear. So, our next step is to let the disease disappear from the world. Dear students, here are some of the words for you to learn the meaning. Pause the lecture and learn the words. I think you have already known the meaning of many words while the text was being explained to you. Next, let's practice some parts of speech change of some words. I suggest you to pause the video for a while and try to make the verb forms of the following words. Here are the answers of this exercise. Now match the answers you have prepared now. Now rewrite the following sentences in active voice. I suggest you to write the answer in the comment section and I shall provide the correct answers there. Finally, there are some questions for you to answer. Again, I suggest you to write the answers in the comment section. I shall provide you feedback after you answering the question. Dear students, I would like to end my today's class here. If you have any question, you can write in the comment section. Thank you for your patience. I always expect your sincerity and eagerness for learning. Thank you.